Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakach Radash, the Anasai apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth, sincerity. Another blessings and salutations to the innumerable multitude, the women and children, and men that follow this truth and sincerity, man. Pray that you brothers are safe and the Lord keep you. With that being said, man, as you see in post-production, I have a still here that says, the earth is spinning faster, so the days are getting shorter, okay? I don't have it up, so I didn't quote the exact phrase. You can see it for yourself because it should be up in there. Okay, so we're going to start off with this precept here. 1 Timothy 6:20. It says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babbling and oppositions of science falsely so called. And when you go into the NLT, it says, Timothy, guard what the Most High has entrusted to you, which is this word, this Bible, these scriptures. Avoid godless, foolish discussions with those people, with those who oppose you with their so-called knowledge. Okay, because science is just knowledge. This means to know. Okay, but Esau's science, a lot of his theories, he speaks it as though it's a fact. All right, and this is one of them. Evolution is another. How you track time through the earth and all that. Just because something's consistent don't mean that's what it is. Okay, and Esau, because you'll do your research on things, and Esau just blatantly say, oh, that they couldn't have been over there in that land. And then you go into why, and they say, oh, well, based off that land and the amount of people, that could have never happened. Nigga, that's an opinion. Okay? That's an opinion. There's no fact to that. There's no excavations you looked up. And there's a lot of things that they do that with and lie with. All right? Earth is billions of years old and all that shit. And then you find out the limestone and the earth's crust is not from molten rock, It's crazy. But the earth was a lot of these people can't break down Genesis chapter 1, man. It'll tell you how the earth was created, but that's a different subject for a different time. Okay, going into some precepts. So we're gonna go into let's see here. It's lucky I gotta pull it back up. So we're gonna go into a beautiful precept. The brother shared with me. Just I gotta get his and get the other ones that I had as well. Joshua 10:12. It says, then spake Slakin. Now I'm gonna say that one. I'm gonna save that one. We're gonna save that one for later. We're gonna go and get Job 26:7. It says, he stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. Okay, and pretty much the earth. Let's see here. All right, so when you go into Genesis, like I said, when you go into Genesis chapter 1, it tells you a lot, and a lot of these people that open this book up don't even know how to break down Genesis chapter 1 properly. Okay, beautiful old school video by Apostle Tahar, and us brothers could break it down at this point through that edification. Through the spirit, I might do it myself. Just to keep it, keep refreshing that. But so once we get, matter of fact, I just get Genesis just to get it. Okay. We're gonna go into Genesis chapter 1. So Genesis chapter 1:1 says, in the beginning, the angels, or Elohim. It doesn't say Yahweh there. It says the angels, specifically it says Elohim, which means angels. Okay. In the beginning, the angels created the heaven and the earth. Okay. Under the order of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It's no different from an architect that draw up a blueprint and then tell carpenters to build that thing. Same concept. It's crazy how order is set upon earth as an example and niggas still can't get it. But let's keep going on. It says, and the earth was without form and void. And the earth was without form and void. Okay? And darkness was upon the face of the deep, and upon the and the spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters. Okay? In the face of the waters, it's talking about outer space, because that's considered a water as well. Okay? And said the Most High said, let there be light, and there was light. All right? Because the earth in itself has its own place. Okay? From the earth ain't just ground. It's the entirety of the from the gravitational pull, the light, the all that. Because again, there was earth before there was light. There was earth before there was earth. Okay? Because if you read again, verse 2 says, the earth was without form and void. Okay? Matter of fact, let me see. See if I could pull it up in the blue letter. It's like it's a Ratazah. All right. Yeah. It says a Ratazah. It says land, earth, whole earth, country, territory, district, region, tribal territory, piece of ground, land of Canaan, Israel, inhabitants of land, Shoel, land without return, city, surface of the earth, ground, soil, people of the land, space or distance or of country, in measurements of distance, level of plain country, living, land of the living, ends of the earth, almost wholly latent usage, lands, countries, often in contrast to Canaan. And the most fitting definition would be the land of the living, okay? Because it's the place where animals live, bacteria, single cells, different things like that, and humans, okay? So, I'm going to go to that word void as well. I want to go to that word void, all right? And that's Bahar, okay? It says emptiness, void, waste, okay? So the earth was without form and void. It was empty, okay? So the earth is just, that area is the entirety. There is just because there is no, like, Jake think tangible. It has to be a land there. It has to be a globe there. No, the concept is there. All right, the elements are there. Okay, just like you got a house and you got wood over here. You know what I'm saying? You got the shingles over here. That's the house. But you got to put it together so the house can be a house. Right? So getting back to what we was going over. So what we're gonna do is jump down to verse 9. And it says, and the Most High said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. Okay? And it was so. And the Most High called that the dry land earth. So now earth has taken its place. All right? Put the log just like, hey, you got a living room. All right? You can have the idea that over here is going to be a living room, over here. You feel me? But once the living room is there and you make it, the angels made it, he walk in. Yeah, this is good. Damn good. I like that. I like the mountains. I like the landscape. Yeah, it was good. Okay? He's the architect. All right? He created the blueprint, and angels executed the blueprint, and Yahweh Shai was the, how can you say, the foreman of the whole operation. He was the district manager, whatever you want to call it. He was over the operation. Yahweh Shai was the first created spirit. All right? That's why the scriptures say there was nothing made that was made that wasn't made by him. Okay? Because Yahweh Shai was partaking in that the whole time. Okay? So verse 10 says, and the Most High called the dry land earth. Okay? So the earth manifested. It was manifested. All right? And gathered, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and the Most High saw that it was good. You see? So once they made it, they created it. Because again, all these things that we are around is just a bunch of collected elements that create certain solids and liquids and mass. All right. So just like helium to H2O, they're both in a representation of air, but they're both different in its effects. Copper, steel. All right. And then when you really get into those elements, there's elements with, or atoms, and they form a certain way, and we see it and we could touch it. Okay. But at the end of the day, when you separate them, it's still particles and atoms and minerals and things like that just being brought together. Okay. And the Lord, through much knowledge, created this earth to not only have minerals, but to put them together in certain areas and in certain ways, creating different metals, different liquids, all right, different gases, all right. And that's just through the power of the Lord, man. And there's elements we there's elements we haven't touched. Okay. There's elements Jake don't even know about. Okay. So, see here. So, we got that down. So now we're going to go to, the book of Job. Okay. So in the book of Job 26:7, it says, he stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and he hangeth the earth upon nothing. All right. Because that was that void, or not the void, that darkness. All right. Which is outer space, the waters. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right. We're going to go into 2 Peter chapter 3 and 5. Okay. Salaki, I almost skipped my mind that fast. So we're going to go to 2 Peter 3 and 5. And it says, for this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of Yahweh, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water, all right, and in the water. Okay, because remember, the earth came out of the water, and they called that earth, and then to gather up the seas, the waters together, and call those seas. And then the earth was standing in darkness. That darkness was the waters, the Shemayim, all right, standing out of the water and in the water, all right. And the firmament, which is our ozone layer, separates us from those two, creates our own atmosphere, because in order to have an ecosystem, you got to put it in some type of dome, all right, and separate it from a different atmosphere so it can live in its own atmosphere, all right. And that's how the earth operates. That's why the sun being as hot, and it's a big ass nuclear reactor, all right. And that's the power of the Lord, because that sun, with all that power that it generates, you know what I'm saying, the firmament, or the ozone layer, or all the layers of the because ozone is just one of the multi layers of the earth. But the whole point is that that's what protects us from the radiation, that protects us from the elements of outer space, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And the ozone actually not only does it block the radiation, but it allows light to come through to us. Okay? Because it's crazy, because the space is dark, right? The earth illuminates itself, and then the ozone also allows that light to pop in, which is why Esau be trying to spray the clouds and all that, and put metal in there, and trying to pretty much reflect the light back away, because he can't take those sun rays. It's hazardous to him. Okay, but this proves that the earth is standing out of water, in the water, the heavens, and then the regular seas and waters. Okay, so going to Job, see if I actually, we read that, again, he stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. And then when you go get another verse real quick. So let's get this last one, and we're going to sign off, You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. But when we go into 2nd Ezra chapter 4 and 34, you know, it says, "O ye men, are not women strong?" Because it's going into, I think Mordecai was, you know, speaking on, you know, what was strong so they can, you know, put out you know, the king was challenging his subjects, and he was going to grant them whatever wish they wanted. And Mordecai was, you know, stepped up to the plate. So the temple, and that pretty much resulted for the temple being rebuilt. All right. Having that allowed. All right. But it says, "O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth. High is the heaven. Swift is the sun in his course." Because according to Esau and his pseudoscience, as I read earlier, science falsely so-called, they'll put out propaganda, they'll put out their programming, they put out their CGI videos, they'll come up with their theories and their you know, summer, winter, spring, fall, and say, oh, that's because the sun is further, you know, the earth is traveling further away from the gravitational pull of the sun and all that, and we're spinning. No, the earth sits in the middle and everything else spins around the earth. Okay? Everything else spins around the earth. All right? Whether the sun gets far away or close, or it goes in an oval, however you want to put it. All right? Esau ain't been out there to know how that shit works. The Lord been out there because he created out there. Esau trying to tell the Lord what it is. That's like a kid telling you how to cook food. You don't know what the hell you talking about. You sound like you do, but you don't know. All right? It says, and the thing about it is, Slocky, I'm you know, get back to it, but this been out throughout history. Motherfuckers go to war and win the war on horses and then start worshiping horses and shit. They don't know what the humans don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay? But getting back to what I was saying, it says, "Swift is the sun in his course, for he compasseth the heavens round about." Remember, the heavens is the outer space. According to Esau, the sun sits in the middle. It shouldn't. That's not a. Let's get the word course. Let's get the word course in the etymology. Salaki, man. Satan is being active right now, so I'm gonna just finish this up, man, and we'll close it out. It says again, you know, the sun has a course. Yeah, that's why I wanted to look that up. You know, I had to pause it and handle some business, but all right, I'm back on. It says course. It goes onward, movement, motion, forward, a running in a prescribed direction or over a prescribed distance, path or distance, prescribed for a race course, flow of a river, a running, a journey, okay, track navigation, a ship, flow of a stream, past participle, to run, okay. According to Esau, the earth just sits in the middle. I mean, the sun just sits in the middle. Where Esau said the sun is, that's where the earth is. Okay? Why wouldn't we be the center of the universe if we the motherfuckers out here? Okay? Ain't no aliens. Ain't no another planet of another civilization. It's us. Now, there's those planets are planets. But ain't no rover dogs on the motherfuckers and certain life forces, and you know what I'm saying? Well, we can't say. We don't know. But it ain't no another civilization. You know, these motherfuckers, instead of iPhones, they got J phones and shit in the parallel universe. No. All right? But let's finish this off. It says, "For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth," and this is the sun. Again, great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course, for he compasseth about the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you say that, it'll make all kind of people that went to school, that got their little not education, got their programming. They'll get mad and try to come up. Man wrote that. Hey, to hell with you, man. You know, barely could figure out Tylenol or how to figure out a common cold, but won't tell the Most High how outer space work, and your ass ain't been out there. Because ain't nobody been past that firmament. Esau doesn't have the technology to live past that firmament. You talking about a nuclear reactor and you just flying a spaceship all through that motherfucker. Right next to a nuclear reactor, and as hot as that sun is, this firmament is stopping that heat from hitting, tearing our ass up, man. You know what I'm saying? You know? So you be to tell me you can lead a firmament and you got something just as powerful as that to withstand the force of the sun? And nothing on this planet Earth can take the force of a nuclear missile, but you can take the heat of the sun? Get the fuck out of here. A little common sense will get you a little ways. You gotta scrutinize Esau, man. Everything he say and do, you gotta scrutinize it. You know, double fact check his ass. You know, but yeah, that's all I wanted to bring out, man. With that being said, give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, double honor side apostles who rule well. Blessed salutations to you, brothers out there teaching and enduring truth, sincerity. Another blessings and salutations to the innumerable multitude that's enduring this truth and sincerity, and the women and children that follow this truth. A sincere ahaba thumb to y'all. I pray for protection and pray, for guidance that we all get up out here as the hopeful elect. Hey, shalom.